Hi guys, so I'm gonna read Flash number 106. So this was a request somebody told me I was gonna do it anyway because I was gonna do a bunch of Flash comics. But so it's the first appearance of the Pied Piper, Gorilla Grodd, and Solovar, and Gorilla City. So Gorilla Grodd is one of Flash's greatest villains. Um, I'd say he's like probably the second greatest after Reverse Flash. Gorilla Grodd is, but the Flash, featuring the Pied Piper of Peril. A blast from the Piper, and the Flash is stopped in his tracks. Nothing can stop this safe robbery now. The Flash, who was piloting the fantastic craft that darted so fast about the city it could not be seen? Only the Flash, by matching the craft's speed, could bring it into his field of vision, thereby revealing a tantalizing puzzle that extended thousands of miles across the world to an even greater surprise and greater danger. Menace of the Super Gorilla.
Only you can stop my conquest of Earth, Flash, so I must eliminate you.
Got to keep moving at super speed to avoid the deadly thought waves the gorilla is beaming at me. From the depths of the dark continent of Africa, a strange craft rises. It whizzes through the air at breathtaking speed. In the radio room of a U.S. Navy patrol ship near the African coast, unidentified flying object shooting across radar screen at incredible speed. When it reaches the Atlantic Ocean, it makes a sudden dive. After crossing the Atlantic Ocean underwater, it plows underneath the United States until...
Now upward to my destination.
In Central City Park, where the all-purpose craft has emerged from the Earth.
I have arrived, without being seen. Now I can begin my plan.
Oh, not long afterward, backstage at the Central City Theater. Can't go on. As Fred Pearson, featured actor, removes his costume. Every night, someone else in Central City gets another glimpse of the fearsome gorilla that roams the streets after dark. But how do I know it's not me? Every morning I awaken, exhausted, as if I've been tramping the streets. I've been playing the gorilla role in this show for too long. I fear it's done something to me. Something terrible. There's just one man in the whole world I can turn to for help at a time like this. As Barry Allen answers his telephone in the Scientific Detection Bureau at police headquarters. And you're my best friend, Barry. I've got to speak to you. Right away. Tonight. All right, Fred. We'll have dinner together. I'll have to break my date with Iris, and after all the times I've been late, this'll make her furious, but it can't be helped. As Barry leaves the police laboratory, Fred Pearson sounds desperate. I wonder what it could be that's bothering him. The next moment, help! I just saw a gorilla! Great Scott! It must be the gorilla! In the darkness, a secret spring on Barry's ring is pressed, releasing a rapidly expanding uniform. For days, the Flash has been waiting for a chance at the mystery gorilla that's been terrorizing the town. Maybe this is it. Instants afterward, a scarlet streak speeds along the street. The woman came from here in the park. This would be a likely spot for the gorilla to hide out. But then, where'd that sudden wind come from? It's as if something shot by me, but I don't see anything. Baffled, the Flash whirls around. A tornado-like wind, bending trees and bushes out of its path. On impulse, he takes off after the vanishing bolt of wind. The top speed of a tornado is 500 miles an hour, but this one is traveling much faster. As the fastest man alive unleashes a sensational burst of super speed, I can barely make out an object in the midst of that wind blast, As I begin to catch up with it, my speed causes it to seem to slow down. And now I can get a good look at it. I never saw a craft like this before. I'm going to have a look inside. But the next moment, amazing! Without the slightest pause, it reversed direction. Gotta stop short and turn around, but the friction I'm causing is digging deep ruts into the ground. Split seconds later, the Scarlet Speedster zooms after the vehicle. It's vanished. I was too slow changing my direction. But next time, maybe, I'll be ready for that tricky craft. Meanwhile, Barry Allen better keep his date with Fred Pearson. And not long after, in a midtown restaurant, and I'll explain why I think I might be the mysterious gorilla roaming the streets at night, Barry. I know it sounds weird, but listen. Just the other night, I entered my dressing room to prepare for my role as the gorilla in the play I'm in. Again this morning I was tired, as if I'd been running all night long. But as I turned to reach for my costume, something struck me. I was not cold, but I learned later. The actor playing the gorilla is doing a marvelous job. It's so realistic. And when I was revived, congratulations, Fred. You put in some extra touches tonight that were superb. Yeah, touches. But I'd never been on stage that night, Barry. As far as I know, I was out cold in the dressing room for the whole performance. And one other thing. Just before I was struck, I seemed to hear words in my head, as if I was getting a message from someone's mind. The thought was, must hide out for a couple of hours, have an idea. Then everything went black. This is a mystery, Fred. I'll do my best to get to the bottom of it. The strange craft is at rest, hidden in foliage. Oh, and says at that moment in Central City Park, a door in the craft opens.
Ha ha! Even the Flash can't catch me.
A hand appears.
Nothing is going to stop me.
As the occupant of the incredible craft appears in the open,
so far, no one suspects I'm here. The human called Flash saw my nuclear-powered craft, but he didn't see me. He knows nothing about me, or about the secret gorilla city in Africa, where I came from. Since I left Africa, I've been using this park as a base, traveling around, searching for the greatest mind in the world. When I find him, I'll be able to use my telepathic power to probe his mind. I'll steal from him the secret of controlling others by force of mind. With that ability, I'll control first my own gorilla city, and after that the world. My plan must succeed. I've worked out every detail.
As the gorilla easily slips into a nearby circus ground.
This circus just came into town, and I haven't had a chance before to look here.
Then, near the gorilla cage,
there he is, the greatest mind in the world. Greetings, Solovar. It's no use your pretending you don't know me. I know you, Solovar. I know you were captured by humans during an expeditionary trip you made away from our gorilla city last year. And I know that since then you have played dumb, acted like an ordinary Congo gorilla, like you're acting now, so that the humans would not get suspicious. I know you're willing to sacrifice yourself so that the existence of our gorilla city will never be suspected by the humans. You can be a hero, but I'm going to use your brain if you won't.
Then, as telepathic radiations pierce the caged gorilla's mind.
So that's the secret of controlling others by force of mind. I've got it now.
When the first gorilla vanishes, leaving Solovar in the cage, Only one thing to do now. Break out of here. I must find the human called the Flash. Since I was captured, I've heard many amazing things about him. He is the only one on Earth who could help me in this crisis. Soon, in the dark streets of Central City... so that's Solovar talk. The Flash passed here not long ago. My super scientific senses can still detect some of the speed radiations he left behind, and I can follow them. Shortly, in Barry Allen's apartment... A gorilla? Coming in here? As Barry, in a twinkling, transforms himself into his lightning-fast counterpart, the Flash...
Stop! You must listen to me.
It speaks English? As the Flash listens, spellbound to his visitor.
And Grodd, the evil gorilla, must be stopped, for the sake of your race as well as mine.
But what can be done, Solovar?
While Grodd probed my mind with his telepathic power, his mind was opened to me for an instant, and I perceived his plans. At this moment he is on his way to our gorilla city in Africa. There he intends to enslave my race and raise an army of gorillas to help him take over the earth. Our only chance is to follow him, stop him before he can get started.
Now I see why you came to me, Solovar. Time is of the utmost importance, and time is something the Flash can handle. Let's go. Endowed with enormous strength by his ability to move at super speed, the amazing Flash takes Solovar for an incredible trip. Hold tight, Solovar. From what you've told me of the location of your gorilla city, we'll be there in about half a second. Meanwhile, in Gorilla City, hidden behind lofty mountains in deepest Africa and never viewed by human eyes.
The force of mind works perfectly. I've used it to control these gorilla soldiers, and with their armed might I'll control the whole world. I shall be Grodd, master of Earth.
The next instant...
Flash! Oh, Flash, you here?
One chance. Solovar told me about the force of mind power Grodd stole from him.
I'll stop you, Flash.
I must use super speed to reach Grodd before he can summon his thoughts to overwhelm me. And that means I got to move so fast he can't see me. With a burst of speed so intense that it ignites foliage on the side of his path, the Scarlet Speedster zooms around his foe. Abruptly, the Flash attacks, catching the evil gorilla up in a whirlpool of rotating air. Spinning at this rate, Grodd, you can't even think straight, let alone use Solovar's force of mind against me. You're finished. And later, after the would-be conqueror has been imprisoned,
You outdid yourself, Flash. I knew I could count on you.
What about Grodd? Won't he be able to use the force of mind power to break out of his cell and start trouble again?
No, Flash. You see, the terrific spinning around you gave him didn't hurt him any, but one thing it did do, it jolted loose the force of mind power. He didn't possess it anymore.
As the Scarlet Speedster prepares to leave,
Flash, for countless years our special race of gorillas has thrived behind these mountains. But we're so few, we know we'd be wiped out in any contest with humans. That's why we don't want to be discovered. Promise me you'll never reveal the location of this city.
I promise. Goodbye now, Solovar. I must return home and solve a friend's problem. Back in Central City. Fred, I can't explain why, but I assure you there will be no more gorilla appearances in the streets. And it never was you. Ooh, I'm glad to hear you say that, Barry. As Barry finally keeps his date with Iris West. Taking me to the zoo? I don't get it. Now I'll never know whether one of these gorillas is an ordinary gorilla, or one like Solovar, keeping quiet so that Gorilla City will stay secret. In the next issue of Flash, another super gorilla thriller. So I guess this is a sequel story to this one. I'll read that eventually, because I'm going to read a bunch of Flash stories anyway. I'm not sure when, well, I got to read the Batman, Monster Men, and then, yeah, there's some Justice Society ones. I'm not, it might be like a few weeks, might be a week or a few weeks, but anyway, The Flash. The Piper is sending a gigantic sound-activated wave my way, going to engulf me. He burst on the city like a tornado of incredible sound. Who was he? Where did he gain his mysterious powers? None knew, and none could handle the amazing criminal until the Flash, fastest man alive, catapulted onto the scene and came to grips with the Pied Piper of Peril. Early one morning, in a midtown Central City skyscraper office. I can't understand it, officer. We found the safe cracked open, as if someone was in the process of robbing it, and then suddenly left without taking a thing. And across town, in a jewelry store, it's incredible. Some crooks broke in through the window and pulled out this drawer full of precious jewels, but not one is missing. What's made them leave before they completed their robbery? And meanwhile, on the edge of the city, where am I going? Something pulling me here. Can't resist it. Inside, at that moment, here comes my newly formed gang, under the spell of my supersonic flute. They cannot resist the call of the Pied Piper. The house must go in. After the thieves have filed into the house. Who are you? What do you want? Underlings, don't ask questions of their chief. All you need to know is that from now on, I, the Pied Piper, am your gang chief. I have decided to organize crime in this city. As I lead the way, you shall follow me in the most amazing crime wave that ever hit this city. But first, there's one more thing I must do. I must get rid of the Flash, the one man who can possibly stop our parade of robberies. But how can you handle the Flash, Chief? You needn't have asked that. I'll tell you. I am a master of sound. For years I've studied sound in all its phases. Do you know what it's capable of? Maybe you've heard of sonic booms, explosions caused miles away by an airplane passing through the sound barrier. Huh? I heard of that, I think. And by vibrations, which are a form of sound. Huge bridges have been torn apart. Don't worry, I'll stop the Flash. That evening, Barry Allen, police scientist, nears a certain corner. For weeks, Iris West, my fiancée, has been complaining how slow I am, and that I'm always late for our dates. She doesn't realize that in my other identity, I am the Flash, fastest man alive, and am too often occupied fighting crime to keep appointments with Iris. In front of Iris's apartment hotel. But for this once, I'm determined to surprise Iris by being on time. It's 5 minutes to 8, and our date is for 8. I gotta waste a few minutes before I ring the bell. At the stroke of 8. She won't be able to complain I'm late tonight, for the dinner she promised to cook for me. Ding dong. Why, Barry, I can't believe it. You're on time. Exactly on time, Iris, to the second. Now maybe you'll stop calling me a slowpoke. At that moment, now by my mastery of sound, I will project a message into the air. A message to the Flash. Up into the city rises an all but invisible bubble. The bubble flies into a radio studio. Huh? The next moment, as the bubble bursts, Calling Flash, this is Pied Piper. The crimes that were left uncompleted last night are being completed right now. And in Iris's apartment, try to stop me, Flash, if you dare. I challenged the Flash. Coming over the radio? I've got to answer that challenge at once. But I can't let Iris know that I'm the Flash. What was that on the radio, Barry? The next moment, Barry? Moving at super speed. She can't see me. Well, how do you like that? The one time that Barry keeps a date with me, on time, he walks out on me. As the world's fastest human zooms towards her foe, one of those uncompleted crimes took place in this skyscraper. I'll take the stairs. The elevator is too slow. Split instance later, that costume character, the self-styled Pied Piper. Here comes Flash, right on schedule. Watch carefully. You'll get a kick out of this. Blowing on his incredible instrument, the Master of Sound hurls a galaxy of notes at the speedster, surrounding him with a vibratory aura. The vibratory aura caused by my music has frozen the mighty Flash in position. He can't move. Paralyzed, as if I weigh 100 tons. This will convince Flash never to interfere in my affairs. Ha! It will be at least a half an hour before he can budge. Plenty of time for us to make our getaway. But short moments after, I should have never underestimated the Flash. He's already caught up to us. He doesn't realize my own vibrations counteracted his, worked me loose. Playing his incredible instrument at the waters of Central City Lake, the Piper sends a huge sound-activated wave, hurtling at the Scarlet Speedster. But no matter, I prepared myself for an emergency like this. As the mass of water strikes the champion of justice, gigantic wave caught me by surprise, too stunned to avoid it. And at the next moment, Flash is finished, boys. Let's go on our merry way. As the Flash comes to, the Pied Piper and his gang got away, but I have one more chance. There's another uncompleted crime. Across town. Got to get there fast and even the score with the Piper. Moving at a blinding rate of speed, the fastest man alive scorns obstacles in his path. At super speed, I can pass right through solid matter, just as X-rays pass through steel. Then, at the jewelry store, Chief, look! The Flash! Hurry! Pull another trick out of your pipe! Watch. As the Master of Sound raises his amazing instrument, sounding off at me again. What fantastic trick will his instrument work now? Just as an earth tremor causes vibrations, so sound can cause an earthquake when delivered by a Master of Sound, like the Pied Piper. Falling into this crack in the earth caused by the Piper's incredible sounds. But instead of giving way to despair, the champion of justice puts on a show of his own. By a spurt of super speed, I can climb up the side of this crevice, and by whirling my hands around like a super speed windmill, I can create a trick of my own. A compact, dense burst of air, with the quick kick of a mule, as it strikes those crooks. Shortly, a human tornado speeds towards the city jail. The Piper and his gang are caught up in my tornado-like vibrations, being pulled helplessly along. Later, at Iris West's apartment, Barry, what happened to you? I just stepped out to get this paper. Says Flash captures Pied Piper gang. For a second I had a notion you might have had something to do with catching that crook, Barry Allen. But I should have known better. You're too slow. Iris is right. I should have nabbed the Piper the first time we met. The end. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. If you could like, comment, and subscribe, that'd be appreciated. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys later.